Hi everyone, this is Stella and welcome to my channel Stellar Music Theory. If you are planning to take any graded ABRSM theory exam soon, you will notice that there will be no more paper exams starting in November 2020, which is this month. The paper exam is now being replaced by a digital version to be taken online on your computer. In fact, students from 6 different countries have already taken the first digital exam on the 10th of this month. With this new change, ABRSM has also launched a new series of graded workbooks and answer books known as Discovering Music Theory. I will go over this series with you later in my other videos. The format of the digital exam is quite different from the paper exam. For example, they have removed the requirement to demonstrate accurate copying of music. Instead, there are now multiple choices as well as drag and drop type of questions. Multiple choices might seem easier, but since the choices might look very familiar at times, students need to be extra careful when picking the correct answers. Instead of being out of 100 marks, the digital exam is out of 75 marks, with 50 being the passing line. A score of 60 or above will be a merit, and 65 or above will be a distinction. You can find sample grade 1 to 5 exams on the ABRSM site. I have also posted the link in the description below so you can download a copy for practice. Today we will go over the new digital theory exam together. This is a sample exam for grade 1 and the exam duration is 1.5 hours, meaning you have 1.5 hours to finish this exam. The total mark is out of 75 and the passing mark is 50. This is how page 1 looks like. At the bottom of the page, there is a terminology chart that shows you how notes are named differently in UK and in USA. On top, we have bar, semi-brief, minim, crotchet, quaver, and semi-quaver. So this is how people in UK name the notes. At the bottom, we have measure, whole note, half note, quarter note, eighth note, and 16th note. And these are names how people in these days named their notes. For example, semi-brief and whole note are the same thing, which is this oval-like note that worth 4 counts. Minim and half note is this note with a stem and it's 2 beats. Crotchet and quarter note is this shaded note, which is 1 beat. Quaver and eighth note is the shaded note with 1 tail and it's 0.5 beat. Semi-brief and 16th note is the shaded note with 2 tails and it's 0.25 beat. Throughout this exam, I'll be using the UK names, meaning I'll be using semi-brief to represent the 4 beats note, minim to represent a 2 beats, crotchet to represent 1, and so on. Question number 1 is on rhythm. Circle the correct time signature for each of these bars. There are 3 questions here, question A, question B, and question C. And for each question, we have 3 choices. Question A, we've got 2/4 time, 4/4 time, and 3/4 time. So what we need to do here, we need to pick the correct time signature for each of these excerpts. In order to do this, we need to understand what time signature is. For example, if we look at 2/4 time, the bottom number always shows you what kind of notes get 1 beat. So here we have 4 at the bottom, so the 4 represents a crotchet, meaning the crotchet will be the unit of 1 beat. The top number shows you the number of beats in each bar. So if the top number is 2, it means 2 crotchet in 1 bar. 4/4 is 4 crotchet in 1 bar. And 3/4 is 3 crotchet in 1 bar. They all have 4 at the bottom, so crotchet will be the unit of this question. So what we need to do now is we need to group the notes together in crotchet. Now before we start, I'm going to write out the chart of note values so we can use it as a reference. Here I have a semi-brief, which is 4 beats. This is a minim, 2 beats. Shaded, so crotchet 1 beat, If I add the tail, it will be 0.5 is a quaver. And finally, if I have two tails, is 0.25, which is a semi-quaver. Okay, so for the quaver, I can join two of them together like this, 1, 2, and if they are put together, you will join them up like this. So this will become the value of a crotchet. And if I join 4 semi-quaver together, this is also the equivalent of a crotchet, which is 1 beat. Now back to question A. All we need to do is to group the notes in crotchet because we already know that crotchet is the unit of 1 beat. So starting at the beginning, we've got a crotchet here. So I'm going to draw a crotchet. Next, we have a quaver rest. So this is a quaver rest, this is a quaver. Both of them is 0.5. So together, they make 1 crotchet. Next, we have this group of 4 notes, and they are these ones here, right? So 4 semi-quaver make 1 crotchet. So I'm going to draw 1 crotchet here. And finally, there's a crotchet at the end. So how many crotchets do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. And the answer would be 4 crotchets, 4 times. Here in this paper question, they ask you to circle the exam. In the real digital exam, you don't need to circle it. You just need to put your mouse, click on the correct answer. So I'm going to circle 4 times for question A. Okay, for question B, we've got something like this here. What is this? I'm going to explain it here on the right hand side. I've got this. The first one has a dot. The second one has another short line. I'm going to draw this first. The top. So at the top here, we've got basically 2 quavers, right? If this group of notes is separated equally, I have 1 quaver here, another quaver here. Together is just a crotchet, which is 1 beat. At the bottom here, they are not separated equally. For the first part, I've got this quaver, and the dot here, the dot always means a half of the notes that it follows. So the note it follows is a quaver. So it's a half of a quaver is a semi-quaver. Then next here, I've got another semi-quaver. I have a quaver plus another quaver, which is a crotchet. So this is actually just a crotchet. Get familiar with it, so next time when you see it, you don't need to do all the math, so you can recognize it as a crotchet itself. So this is a crotchet, and we have another crotchet here. So we've got 1, 2, and the answer will be 2 crotchets, 2 4 times. So for question C, we've got this one here. We cannot separate it because that's how it's written. And what is this? So here we've got this plus a dot. First of all, we've got a crotchet, and like we said earlier, the dot is always a half of the note it follows. So a half of crotchet is quaver, meaning it's 1.5. So we've got a crotchet here, but we've got another quaver here. 1. Together with this quaver, we have another crotchet, right? Cross this out. And finally, these two together is a crotchet. So we've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3 crotchets altogether, and this is 3 4 times. Now before we continue, I would like to explain what this is. This is called common time. It's the same as a 4 4 time. It's just another way to represent 4 4 time, meaning 4 crotchets in 1 bar. Let's move on to the next question. At the 1 missing bar line, to each of these 5 melodies. So here we've got 5 questions, A, B, C, D, E, and what you need to do is you need to add bar line. First, you need to look at the time signature. Question A is in 2/4 time. It means 2 crotchet in each bar. So we have to group the notes in crotchet, and after every 2 crotchets we will draw a bar line. So the first set of notes, we've got this 4 semiquaver, which is a crotchet. Next to it we have a quaver note plus a quaver rest. Together they make 1 crotchet. So this is beat 1, this is beat 2, because it's in 2/4 time. We've got 2 crotchet values already, so we're going to draw a bar line here. Then we have a minim, which is 1, beat 1 and beat 2. So we've got 1, 2, and at the end there's a double bar line already. So we're done. For question B, we are in 3/4 time this time, meaning 3 crotchet in every bar. So again, we're going to group the notes in crotchet, and after 3 crotchets we're going to draw a bar line. So this is 1 crotchet, 2 crotchet, 3 crotchet. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to draw a bar line here. Now I'm going to check the rest of the notes just in case. So here, next I have got this, which is 1 crotchet plus a quaver. So this quaver together with this quaver, cross it out. We've got 1 crotchet, and this 1 crotchet. So 1, 2, 3. It's correct. Next, I have question C, which is in 4/4 time. So 4 crotchet in each bar. First, we have a minim. So minim is 2 crotchet. Then crotchet, crotchet. So crotchet, crotchet. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 crotchet already. So we're going to draw a bar line. Check the rest of the notes. We've got 2 quaver here, which is 1 crotchet. Another 2 quaver, another crotchet, and minim, which is 2 crotchets. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's correct. Question D, we've got a 2/4 time. 2/4 time means 2 crotchet in every bar. The first note is a dotted crotchet, which is a crotchet plus a quaver. I make a quaver smaller because quaver is not my unit. I need to add another quaver to make it into a crotchet. I've got 1 crotchet here, cross this out. This is another crotchet too. Oh, so that's my 2 crotchet already. I'm going to put a line here. Now check the rest. So what do I have here? Okay, so this one is a quaver. These 2 together is a quaver. Together, this is a crotchet. This is a crotchet itself. So 1, 2 is correct. Question E, we've got 3/4 time. So 3 crotchet in every bar. This is a crotchet. We've explained that earlier. So this is 1 crotchet, crotchet, crotchet. We've already got 1, 2, 3. After every crotchet, we're going to draw a bar line because it's in 3/4 time. Check the rest. This is a crotchet. These 4 semiquaver make 1 crotchet, and finally this one is a crotchet. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and that's it. Next, question 1.3. Tick 1 box to answer each question. There are 2 questions here, question A and question B. Question A, how many quavers are there in a dotted minim? So what is a quaver? Quaver is the shaded note with a tail. And they're asking you how many quavers are there in this dotted minim. So dotted minim equals to if I explain it clearly, this is a minim plus the dot is a half of a minim, right? So a half of 2 is 1, which is represented by a crotchet. So basically this is 3 beats. In 3 beats, we have 1 crotchet, 2 crotchet, 3 crotchet, right? And each crotchet can be split into 2 quavers. So how many quavers do we have here? 3 times 2 equals 6. So that's your answer. You have 6 quavers here. It said put a tick here, so I'm going to tick the box with a 6. Question B. How many crotchets are there in a semi-brief? So crotchet is the shaded note. Semi-brief is the ophel. And we know that the ophel is 4 beat. Crotchet is 1 beat. So they're asking you how many 1 are there in a 4. So there are 4. The answer will be 4. Next question 1.4. Take 1 box to show which bar is grouped correctly. So here we need to understand the grouping of notes in order to pick the correct answer. The general rule for grouping the notes is you want to group the notes together so then they follow the beats. For example, these 3 questions are all in 3/4 time. So 3/4 time I'm going to write here at the bottom. The bottom number 4 shows you that crotchet is the unit. Crotchet gets 1 beat. The top number 3 shows you there are 3 beats. So 3 crotchet beats in 1 bar, like this. 1 crotchet, 2 crotchet, 3 crotchet. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to draw another bar. I'm going to split them in 2. It's a simple time. Now, this is beat 1, beat 2, beat 3. The rule is I want to group them so then they look like something like this. I can see beat 1, beat 2, and beat 3 clearly. Let's go back to the question and take a look at it together. First, we have a crotchet, so it's fine. Next, we have these 2 notes. 2 semi-quaver, which makes quaver. And then I've got this set of 4 notes. I've got these 2 together that makes a quaver, and another 2 quaver that makes a crotchet. Okay, if I count, I do have 1 crotchet, and then the 2 quavers together makes 1 crotchet and then another crotchet. But the problem is, you see how these are connected together? Now if I write it down, instead of having 1, 2, 3 like this, they group it like this. They have 1, which is fine, but the 2 is split into this. They've got this, and they group these 3 together, and this is wrong. So question number 1 is not correct. Alright, next we've got this one, a crotchet here, which is fine. Next I've got this, which is the same as the previous one, which is a quaver. And here I've got this. Okay, what do I have here? I have these 2 semi-quaver that makes a quaver, and then another quaver here. So together, this is a crotchet. Alright, so this is a crotchet. At the end I have a quaver. Although I do have the value of 3 crotchet here, but they are grouped like this. 1, instead of grouping them like this, 2, 3. They should be grouped like this, right? 1, 2, 3. Instead, they are grouped as 1, which is shown as a crotchet. Then I've got a quaver here by itself, and these 2 notes are grouped together as a crotchet. It's very hard to read, and also it's not grouped according to the beats. So this is wrong as well. The last one, we've got this is a crotchet. This 4 together, 4 semi-brief is a crotchet. These two together is a crotchet. Now finally this time you can see it clearly. This is beat 1 crotchet, this is beat 2, and this is beat 3. So this one is the correct answer. Next page, question 1.5. Tick or cross each box to show whether the rest are correct or incorrect. Here we've got 4/4 time, which means 4 crochets in every bar. We've got 1 crochet here, 2 crochet, so 1, 2. We need a rest that shows 2 crochet, but here this one is a minimum rest, so it's incorrect. If we have a minimum rest here, then we end up having 6 beats instead, because 1, 2 plus 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Next, we've got this, which is a dotted crochet, and is a crochet plus a quiver. Here we have the quiver, so quiver together makes a crochet. Cross out this. So this is beat 1. This is beat 2. This one is your beat 3, and finally we need a rest that represents 1 beat. So a rest that represents a crochet, and this is a crochet rest, so it's correct. Next bar we have a crochet, beat 1, another crochet, beat 2. All right here. So what we can do is, let's say you don't know how to read this bunch of notes and rest. Go to the end of the bar, which is here. Go backward. We see that there is this group here, right? Which is a crochet. That has to be your beat 4. So this bunch here in the middle got to be your beat 3. So you're going to see if it represents 1 crochet. This is a semi-quiver rest plus 1, 2, 3 semi-quiver. Together they make 1 crochet, so correct. So this is correct. Question 1.6. Tick one box which shows the 4 notes written in order from the shortest value to the longest. Let's take a look at the first one. We start with a semi-quiver, which is a very small value, which is 0.25. Then we have a dotted quiver, which is obviously bigger than the semi-quiver. Next, we have a minimum, which is 2 beats, followed by a semi-brief, which is 4 beats. So look like it's going from the shortest to the longest. So it's correct, but we need to check the other 2 as well. Next, we have a semi-quiver, which is 0.25. But then right away, it's followed by a minimum, which is 2 beats. After the minimum, we have a dotted quiver, which is a lot smaller than the 2, the minimum, so this is not correct. The last one, we start with a semi-quiver again. Again, this is the smallest one, followed by the dotted quiver, which is more than the semi-quiver. After that, we have a semi-brief, which is 4 beats, followed by a minimum, which is 2 beats. So you see how it is not really in the order from shortest to longest. So again, this is not correct. So the correct answer is the first one. Question number 2 is on pitch. Tick one box to show the correct name of each note. Here we need to remember the notes of the treble clef and the bass clef. Well, for question A, we have a bass clef. The lines are G, B, D, F, A. You can use the mnemonic good, burritos don't fall apart. This is quite easy and fun to remember. So G, B, D, F, A. So the 4th line would be F. Now make sure you always check the key signature though. Here in the key signature we have F sharp. So this is F sharp instead of F. So the answer will be F sharp. Question B, we have treble clef this time. Treble clef lines are E, G, B, D, F. You can use the mnemonic every good boy deserves fudge. So E, G, B, D, F. Now the note is on the top line, so E, G, B, D, F, that will be F. Nothing in the key signature, the answer is F. Next question, C. Treble clef again. Now this time we have a ledger line. Ledger line is the extra short line that you add on top or below of the staff. We know that this is a middle C. It's very simple because when you add a short ledger line below the staff in the treble clef is middle C. This middle C has a sharp next to it, so it's a C sharp. Question D, bass clef. Good burritos don't fall apart. That would be A. Treble clef, third line, every good boy. It's B, it has a flat, so answer is B flat. Question F, bass clef, second line, we have good. Oh, sorry, just first line, good, good. So the answer is good. Check the key signature. Does not apply to G, so the answer is G. Okay, the last one, we have a treble clef, and it's in the fourth space. So for the spaces in treble clef, it's easy. F, A, C, E. That's how you remember it. Smiley face. So the top space would be E. By the way, there's no question with bass clef space. I'm going to write it here as well. For the spaces is A for all, cows, eat, Russ. So A, C, E, and G for bass clef. Going to question 2.2. Take the lower note of each of the pairs of note. For question A, we have C, because all cows, that's C natural, just a C, so I can cross out the natural, followed by a C, followed by a C sharp. So which one is the lower note of the two? C sharp is when you move a half step up from a C. So the C sharp is higher than, the sharp is always higher than the natural or the original note. If you find it confusing, you can write flat, going up to natural, going up to sharp, from low to high, like that. So C sharp is higher than C. If we need to find a lower note, C is lower. Question B, I've got all cows eat, so this is E natural, and next to it I've got E flat. Alright, so it's a flat lower or it's a natural lower. The flat is lower, so the answer is E flat. Next, question C, treble clef, I've got every good boy, so B flat and B natural. Flat is lower than natural, so if I need to find a lower note, it has to be flat. The answer is B flat. Finally, for D, I've got every good boy deserves fudge, right? So F sharp and F natural. Now, which one is lower? Natural is lower than sharp, so the answer is F natural here. 2.3, take the correct clef needed to make each of these named notes. Question A, okay, which clef do we have to put in here? So then this note, the first line, will read G. If we put a treble clef here, this will be E, because every good boy, right? So it is incorrect. Let's try to put a bass clef here. If we put a bass clef here, it starts with good burrito, so it's G. The answer is bass clef. Question B, let's try to put in a treble clef. If we put in a treble clef, we have F, A, C, E. Okay, so that's correct already. It's treble clef. Next, question C, let's try to put in a treble clef here. If we put in a treble clef here, we have every good boy deserves fudge at the top. Let's say you don't know what this is, right? You don't know what this note with the legend line is. It is F at the top, G, A. It will be A if you put in a treble clef, so it is not correct. Let's try to put in a bass clef instead. If you put in a bass clef, this is very simple because you can tell if you add a ledger line on top of the bass clef stuff, it's middle C, so it's correct, bass clef. Finally, question D, let's try to put in a treble clef first, then we will have every good, so it's not G here, it's B flat. Let's try the bass clef. Put in a bass clef and we have good burritos. Okay, so it's B. The answer is bass clef. Question number 3 is on keys and scales. Tick one box to show the correctly written key signature of F major. First of all, you need to know that in F major, there is a B flat. So we have to look for a key signature with a B flat. The first one we have here F sharp, which is incorrect. Next we have good burrito, so B flat. Okay, looks like it's correct. Let's check the rest. We've got good burritos, G, B, D, right? We've got a D flat here, which is not correct. It's not, the flat is not in the right place. And finally we have, now this is middle C, so this is a B flat as well, but we do not put the B flat up there, so this is wrong as well. So there's only one answer that is correct, which is this one. Tick one box to show the correctly written key signature of D major. In D major, you have to remember that there are two sharps, and they are F sharp and C sharp. So let's check the first one, treble clef. This E, G, B, D, F is F sharp. Second one is F, A, C, C sharp. Okay, looks like it's correct. Let's check the rest. The second one, there's only one sharp, which is F sharp, and we need two sharps, so it's incorrect. Third one, we've got two sharps here, but if we check, this is every good boy deserve. We've got D sharp and A sharp. It's not correct because they are not in the right place. The sharps are not in the right place. The last one, we've got F sharp, F, A, C. We do have F sharp and C sharp, but it's not written in the right place because the first sharp, F sharp, has to be in the top line. So this is incorrect. So the first answer is correct. Question 3.3. Tick 3 boxes to show which notes need an accidental to create a melody in the key of G major. What is an accidental? Accidental is a sharp or a natural or a flat that we put next to a note. And in the key of G major, there's a F sharp. So whenever we see F, we need to put a sharp. Here they ask you to put a tick, and they specifically ask you to tick 3 boxes. So there are 3 Fs altogether. I'm going to check them one by one. The first note here, every good boy deserves fudge. So top line is F, this is G. So this is not F. Next we have E, G, B, D, F. It's correct. So here, there should be an accidental like this. In real music, there should be an accidental of a sharp written next to the note, but we don't really need to do it in the exam. All we need to do is put a tick here. Next, we are back to the G, so I can write it down. This is G, this is F, this is G again, and every good boy deserve, this is D, every good, this is G, this is F, so it is an accidental. Every good, this is F, this is G, F, A, this is A, every good boy deserves. This is D. This is every good boy deserves fudge. This is F. So that's F. And finally, this is F. This is F. This is upper step G. Okay, let's check if we have free F. 1, 2, 3. Next, tick 2 boxes to show the 2 pairs of notes in this scale which is a semitone apart. Okay, this scale, how can we tell what scale it is in? We need to look at the first note. Here, this is the first note, or the tonic, or the do, do, re, mi, do. The do is C, so we've got a scale of C. So it has to be C major or C minor. Here, it looks like it's a C major because there's no sharp, no flat. So C plus is C major. The formula of a major scale is tone, tone, semitone, T, 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 S. So tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Or we can call it whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, whichever way you find it easier to remember. Now I'm going to quickly draw a piano keyboard so you can understand what it means. So I'm going to make it black, my set of 2 black keys and my set of 3 black keys. Starting on the left hand side of the 2 black keys, always C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and let me draw another set of 2 black keys here, C, D, E. Okay. Alright, so if we are dealing with C major now, tone, tone, semitone, or whole, whole, half means from the first note to the second note, which is C to D, it has to be a tone or a whole note. A tone means 2 semitone. Semitone is just the shortest distance between 2 notes. For example, from C, let's change the color to make it clearer. So from C, this white note going to this black key, this is the closest distance. So from C going to C sharp, this is C sharp. And from C sharp, the black key, going to the next note, to the next white note, D, is a semitone, so on and so forth. This is a semitone, this is a semitone. Now from E to F, this is also a semitone, or we call it a half step, because there's nothing in between it. You see there's no black key in between it. They are side by side next to each other, so that's the closest distance between 2 pitch. So it's a semitone, or a half step. So for the formula of scale, let me use green to represent it. We need a whole. So between C and D, it got to be a T, whole tone. So from C going to this is half, and then from here down is a whole. So basically C going to D is a whole because half, half. Okay, so C to D is a whole tone. Then D to E has to be a whole tone. The first one is a whole tone, second one needs to be a whole tone as well. So whole, whole, whole. Next one, it needs to be a half. So E going to F, this one got to be a half. Then we need a whole again. Whole is like this, half, half. So F to G is a whole. G going to A because half, half is a whole. A going to B, again, it needs to be a whole. So half, half is a whole. Finally, the last one is B going to C, needs to be a half tone. Alright? So that's the formula of a major scale. Here, I need to find the 2 pair of notes that are semitone apart. So going from here, this is T tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So I need to take this one for semitone and this one for semitone. Next, circle true or false for each statement. Question A, there is one flat in the key signature of F major. Is it correct? Yes, because in F major there is one flat in the key signature and it will be B flat, always B flat. So it's true. Question B, there is one sharp in the key signature of D major. Is it correct? Do we have one sharp in D major? Now, if you remember clearly, in the key of D major, there are two sharps. They are F sharp and C sharp. So they're asking you if there's one sharp in the key signature, and it's false. Next, question C. This is the second degree of the scale of G major. Okay, if we write out G major, starting with G, because G will be the tonic in G major, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's your scale. So which one is the second degree? This is 1, this is 2, this is your second degree. The answer would be A. Okay, let's check to see if this is A. This is treble clef, this is F, this is A. Okay, looks like it's correct, so true. Question D. This is the fourth degree of the scale of F major. So again, we start with F. F is the tonic, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, and F. Which one is the fourth degree? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth degree would be B. Okay, let's check here. We've got G, B. Okay, this is a B, but is it correct? Now, in the key of F major, there is a flat, and the flat is B flat. You have to be very careful when you're working on these questions. Always think of the key signature. So in F major, there is a B flat. Here, we have a B. So it's not correct, because if you have a B, it does not represent an F major. In order to fully represent an F major, the fourth degree has to be a B flat. So the answer is false. So this is kind of a tricky question if you are not being careful. And 3.6, tick one box to show the correctly written scale of G major ascending. So I'm going to underline G major. Ascending means going up. For the first one here, this is bass clef. Let's check. What is the starting note here? We've got good burrito. So this is a B. Immediately it's not correct. This is wrong. Next one, this one. Again, bass clef. First one is good. Okay, so it looks like it's correct. So we have G. You can write out everything. A sharp, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's written from G to G. So in a way, okay, it looks correct. But let's think about the key signature of G major. In G major, there is a F sharp. There's one sharp, and the sharp is F sharp. So write it down here, F sharp. Do we have an F sharp here? Oh, the F is not sharp, but somehow the A is being sharp, so it's again incorrect. All right, last one. We've got bass clef again. We start with good. Again, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. This time we do have F sharp, so it looks like it's correct. Then this is the correct answer. Next question, 3.7, circle true or false. The statement is, this is the scale of C major descending. Descending means going down, okay? This is in bass clef. In bass clef, the top ledger line is middle C. So C, B flat. Now if you find it difficult, just write down C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C in ascending order, and then you go backward like this. backward when you copy. So C, B flat, A, G, F, E, D, C. Okay, it does start with C and it ends on C, so it does look like some kind of a C scale. But is it a C major? We know that C major is no sharp, no flat. But here we do have a B flat, so it is not correct. Although it's descending and it starts with C and end on C, it is false. Okay, question 3.8. Cross the two incorrect notes in the following scale. This time we have a D major scale descending, which means going down. So let's check. We are in treble clef. So every good boy deserves D. Okay, so here we can add another D, and then we can just go down from D. D, C sharp, then B, A, G, F, E, and D sharp. Okay, that's a bit weird already, because if we start on D, it's in the key of D, it must end on D. Now we end on D sharp, so we know that this note is not correct, right? So this is the incorrect note. Then next, we have to figure out the key signature of D major. In D major, there are two sharps, and they are F sharp and C sharp. So let's go back to start from the beginning. In the key of D major, we do have a D, correct? We do have a C sharp, correct? We do have a B, yes. We have A, yes. We have G, yes. Here we have a F instead of a F sharp. We should have a F sharp there, and we do not have a F sharp, so this is the wrong note. Next, we have a E, and we should end on D, so there are two wrong notes, F and D sharp. That's it for question 3.8. This is the end of part 1. In part 2, we'll continue from question 4 to the end of the paper. If you like my video and find it useful, please click like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting different videos regularly. Stay tuned and see you next time.